We will begin very soon. We will begin very soon. We will begin very soon. Good evening, fellow Ambazonians and friends of Ambazonians. My brother Lucas Asso, we are the press secretary for the executive office for Ambazonia Governing Council. Today, I want to give an update. A very good news we don't come out for the United Nations Office for Special Procedures. The United Nations Office for Special Procedures na part of the United Nations Human Rights, and they don't finally send out a report to the international community. The United Nations Special Procedures, in summary, for which they don't talk. They don't issue a report by the committee, by the working group, for call on the Cameroon and the Nigerian government, say the arrest of Pamfo Ngalamfo, Tassan Wilfred, AYUK Julius, and the rest. Say the arrest, it will be illegal, it will be arbitrary, and they don't call on the Cameroon and the Nigerian government for release AYUK, Pamfo, Tassan Wilfred, and the others immediately for an 18-page report with the working group issue for this October, for October 14. They say the Cameroon and the Nigerian government, they violate all these people their rights, and the Cameroon and Nigerian government are never fit for justify their arrest and the deprivation of liberty of this person. And the Cameroon and hold on. So the Cameroon and the Nigerian government, the actions where they carry them against the Ambazonian citizens, these activists and leaders, it constitute a violation of all international laws. And they also talk for one of those points. Them say the Cameroon and Nigerian government must do everything possible for compensate these people, them not only for release them immediately, but they must also compensate them for the duration of period where they don't keep them under detention. They cite a couple of reasons, and they cite all the international laws them where the Cameroon and the Nigerian government, they don't violate them and for their actions. So what did this one mean? When I read the report, I call one of experts, when an expert for international law, an expert for human rights. I call you, I say, I beg, we don't see this report, we don't come out. You as an expert, make we get your opinion about this report. This one are really good news. He say yes. PSSO. Now really good news this for the Ambazonian people then. Now really good news say finally, after 5 years, the United Nations human rights special procedures, they don't finally meet up and they pick up this case and they issue their expert opinion and advice. I say yes, but what it really mean? It's a PS. This one is standard procedure. This one is a standard procedure. That's something with the United Nations. It do them all the time. For any place, any time, when people their rights don't be grossly violated, grossly abused. So it's the good news. Let's say they don't give an opinion, and they issue this statement and they make recommendations. It's a really good news this. For the Ambazonian people then, this report, it come at a time with so much pressure it bear on the Cameroon and the Nigerian government then. These two rogue countries then, where even for all the conventions and international laws where they don't sign and they be part of it, as they need to respect them, it be really good. Say the United Nations don't call them out. So the standard procedure, I say, a lot of Ambazonians, their rights, they don't be violated. From which to the year, we get more than 3,000 Ambazonians with the day inside La République du Cameroon, their jails, and some the day for Ambazonian, for the colonial jails for inside Ambazonians. But the expert talks say, PS, the UN for issue this statement, now the first good step, and we need for appreciate them, but they need for do more. Cameroon, it not only violate now these people their rights. Cameroon don't burn more than 1,000 villages for inside Ambazonia. Cameroon don't kill more than 30,000 Ambazonians within the last 5 years. It's a what the United Nations need for do. What these United Nations special procedures they need for do. I mean, these United Nations human rights special procedures they need for do. Now for refer Cameroon to the International Criminal Court. Because, and the expert will be, he go ahead for tell me say PS. When Pa Goji Dinka, the Cameroon government will be also arrested illegally, detainee, torture. When it be finally come out, the United Nations it be also issue the same statement. When Dr. Akwanga Ebenezer, the Cameroon government be arrested and detainee, lock you up and torture you for years, the United Nations be issued the United Nations human rights special procedures. It be issued the same statements, and there was no follow through for implementation or act on these statements. It's in a way you need for know that. So why Cameroon carry out these arbitrary actions would it be contrary to international law? The United Nations most often they need to really go after Cameroon or after this state for hold them accountable. The statement by itself for them for issue them a good thing. But for say the lack of implementation, the lack of action, who go implement them? Another one day inside. And that's why our expert talks they say the United Nations need for go further. It need for go further. For refer Cameroon to the International Criminal Court. Not only for the abuse, for the gross abuse of our people, their rights, but for also the destruction, the genocide, where Cameroon don't cause on the Ambazonian land. It don't cause them on the Ambazonian people. It's until they refer Cameroon and Cameroon colonial authorities to the International Criminal Court. Most of the time, these statements, they will only remain statements. And our people will continue to suffer. Our people will continue to die. Our people will continue to being killed. Our people will continue for being incarcerated. And the advisor way, wow, expert. It gives you say make we communicate and make all we understand. Because these statements and sometimes when they come out, when people never be fully informed as to how these things work, they will take they turn up for some other things. We welcome these statements. We think it's a very good first step from the United Nations Human Rights Special Procedures. A very good first step. However, we call upon them to go further, for refer Paul Biya, for refer Diongute, for refer Atanganji Paul, for refer Betty Asomo, for refer all the top Cameroon generals, where they don't send them for inside Ambazonia. The generals for the B, the generals for the army, the generals, they are generals for their gendarmes, they are generals for their police, or their commissioner of police them, all them, their DOs, their governors, make they refer these people to the International Criminal Court. So now they advise that way. We're human rights, we're expert for international law and for human rights. It don't give we. So we call on all Ambazonians who they on Twitter. When I take this document where the United Nations Human Rights Special Procedures, they don't issue them. When I take them for Twitter, when I blast them for Twitter, when I thank the United Nations Human Rights Special Procedures on Twitter, and then when I ask these people them for go further. All right, when I ask them to do more. The issue of this statement now a good first step, but the need for do more. Now the information this will be talking make I take some time for can share them with una and for share una the news. I be promised una 2 days ago, say I go can give una a full detailed analysis of the document, the report, the 10-point reports where a Canadian political science professor, Professor Chris Roberts, the indictment we don't give for Paul Biya, we issue and say the path to peace, and he write a 10 points recommendation for how they feel resolve this conflict, how they feel give Ambazonian people them their rights, how Ambazonia feel take gain independence, and how they feel hold Paul Biya accountable. It's a 10 points things that we write up. I beg when I get time, I'll come back for now. We'll get a very detailed conversation about what the Canadian political science professor, Professor Chris Roberts, what he don't talk about Ambazonia, Cameroon, where he call Cameroon a state of propaganda and lies. And just for so that me wanna be ready for that report, he talks they say the referendum with the Cameroon colonial government, he organized them for 1972. Now fake. All right, we'll talk. We'll get more for talk. We'll get more for talk. We'll get more for talk. All right. Make we leave them for day for now. When I get on myself a blessed evening. When I take care. When I stay strong. Oh, before when I go, when I remember the leader of our war of independence, following all the developments both on the ground and on international scenes. It don't launch a very strategic program, a campaign for the Ambazonian people then. It don't launch Operation 200 AKs Now una ticket that for place where una need for go. Now una ticket that. Now the organized power on the ground under structured forces will be under direct political leadership. Structured forces will be under total direct command and control. Now una ticket that. Now una ticket that to una liberation. Now una ticket that for claim una sovereignty. Operation 200 AKs. Now I go help with for flush Cameroon out. As the leader don't state them. We'll get more for talk am. But as a talk, time short. For now, make any of una get my number. Una get any of the numbers for AGovC officials. Una contact with how you go make a contribution for Operation 200 AK. Now our ticket this. Now our ticket. No nothing. No statement from the international community. Wetin go give you independence. Now the demonstration of authority, power, control of the ground through structured forces will be directly under a political leadership alignment with the objective and the aspiration of the Ambazonian people them. Now una ticket that. It give una a roadmap. That roadmap, it don't give una victory. Now we need for take that victory. We need for claim that victory. We need for hold that victory. You know if you hold victory, if you know if you control territory when they are land. Operation 200 AKs.